Fogset, saving democracy, one joke at a time.
This is Brick Chisel, and welcome to Fogset News. The stock market has rebounded with the news of the certainty of Donald Trump's defeat, topping out at 30,000, a new high mark. Losing by over 5 million votes, Donald Trump said that the stock market was his doing. However, his boasting was drowned out by choruses of "Ding dong, the witch is dead, the wicked witch is dead." America battens down the hatches as a crime wave sweeps the country as Donald Trump pardons hundreds of criminals. Financial fleecers and collaborators of foreign governments are let loose in the street. Former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn has been granted a pardon, and Paul Manafort has not got one yet, although they did deliver a cake with a file in it to his jail cell. India has passed a law making it a crime to force someone to change their religion when they get married, usually the wife. It carries a stiff penalty of 10 years in prison. Many women have opted to do time in the big house rather than to stay at home with the hubby. Constant spotlight seeker and narcissist in chief Donald Trump won't be happy with this new piece of publicity. Webster's Dictionary has put his picture under the definition of loser. A loser is defined as one who lost consistently, one who is incompetent and unable to succeed, something or someone doomed to fail or disappoint. Future generations, mostly immigrants coming to this country and learning English, will be able to go to the dictionary and see exactly what a loser looks like. In sports, the NBA is being forced to hire slower, older white guys as diversity hires in a lawsuit. Many fans, though, have said if they wanted to watch old, slow white guys, they'd tune into Shuffleboard. This is Brick Chisel for Fogset News.
Alarmists are outraged at the current shortage of shocking affronts and atrocities. The absence of offenses is causing huge turmoil in fear-mongering communities. Thousands, if not millions, of panic-stricken influencers will be in the poorhouse due to the calm and orderly transition from the Trump White House chaos to the same measured presidency of the Biden-Harris cabal. Millions, if not billions, will lose their megaphones of mayhem at this horrifying return to decorum. Trillions, if not gazillions, will be shocked by the sudden disappearance of shit to be alarmed by.
Shut up!
More wrongful stuff to be alarmed by after this shocking new development.
Hello and welcome to Fogset. My name is Michael Meehan. My guest today has literally broken off from Norway, and they are a country that is floating in the Norwegian Sea. Please welcome Chief Constable Uterlander Fjerdedurf. Constable Fjerdedurf, welcome. I see. Normally you are a landlocked nation next to Norway, but because of the ice melt from global warming, you're now a country afloat in the Norwegian Sea off Svalbard, Norway. I suppose that poses problems, especially as you've relied on Norway for much of your supplies. And you speak a distinctly different language than Norwegian. It's known as Netherwegian. Is that true? Yes, but you do have a Starbucks, and the most popular beverage is the seal blubber latte. Tell us, here at Fogset, we'd like to know what are some of the challenges of being adrift in the North Sea?
The Fogset. The Fogset. Here's a 40, here's a 70, the Fogset.
Yes, that is humorous. I realize that Fogset in your language means hanky-panky with the Burgermeister's wife. I assure you that was purely unintentional. Oh my, you've bumped into Greenland again. That sounds like quite a commotion. My goodness, the walruses are ransacking the Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah, for sure. Sure, for you.
I see, the fish-scented aromatherapy throw pillows are driving the walruses mad. What are the citizens doing to protect themselves from this rampage? Well, that's a relief. Most of the folks are on the other end of the country at the annual cheese cutting festival, which occurs rain, shine, or walruses. How will this affect their Christmas shopping? I see, not a big deal. Most Netherwegians shop online anyway. Well, thank you so much, Chief Constable Fior de Dieu, for joining us here. And we wish you well in the coming winter months and good luck. And we hope that you land safely somewhere. Thank you for joining us here at Fogset.
The Fogset! The Fogset, you are for
We'll be back after this.
Hiya folks, Officer Harumph here of the San Francisco Police Department with a few safety tips. Now you've all heard about the Ice Bucket Challenge, where people fill up a bucket of ice and pour it over themselves to raise money for charities for muscular dystrophy and such. However, there's a new challenge out there that we urge you not even to try. It's very dangerous. Of course, I'm talking about the Hot Lava Challenge. Anytime someone says, I'm going to pour a bucket of hot lava on themselves, walk the other way. It's a dangerous stunt and we urge you not to do it. Second of all, anytime you have hot lava and a lot of people go down to the Home Depot and get the buckets, they melt immediately and cause environmental damage and something for the sanitation departments to clean up. Now, rest assured that if you are a good citizen and you follow safety guidelines, everything will be fine. However, don't worry, because if the Earth's crust happens to open up and swallow up the unbelievers in a fiery fury of the wrath of the Lord and vengeance, they will get their just punishments, and the rest of us continue to be safe and happy citizens here in this city. Thank you.
Hello, I'm film director Sir Ernest Fluff, and this next film you're about to see is one of the rare excursions into the documentary film world in which I was allowed to participate. Enjoy this film, ArtBeat, the story of a young artist as he pursues his goals despite society wanting to block him at every step of the way. I think you'll enjoy the freedom, the artistic spirit of this young man as he goes upon life's journey trying to find the ultimate art. Please enjoy ArtBeat.
Today we're in the outdoor studio of a very eccentric artist Mr. Finbar Mufton. Mr. Mufton, welcome to Channel G's Action News at 6 with our new segment, ArtBeat.
What is this? Is this a hand, or is it art, or is it what? Define it.
We got a live one here. Okay. You know, I'm sure a lot of our viewers are wondering, how does an artist like you get inspiration? Now, personally, being the weatherman, I simply look up into the sky and I deliver a heartfelt weather report. How do you, personally, get your inspiration?
I feel the pain of my medium. And because I'm working in bread, I find the pain of the medium, where its angst is, and bread is all tied in with the money and the government, and who controls the bread, and who is in charge of the bread, who benefits from the bread, who's ripping off those who want the bread. That's what I feel.
Now, when you speak of working with bread, what types of bread do you prefer to work with? White bread, wheat bread, beefsteak, rye, sourdough bread, being here in the Bay Area? What's your favorite?
It depends on what the bread tells me. Which bread is the neediest? At times, a loaf of pumpernickel will give me the angst that many people felt during the medieval times, which is really, you can't capture that on, say, a white bread or a wheat bread. You must go with what the loaf tells you. And through the loaves, I get the sense of where the painting is going, where the work is going.
Now, with bread being your canvas, what do you use as your paint?
I use an assortment of jellies and jams. This is my canvas. This is my paint. This is the angst. Do you see? Mm-hmm. It's all there. Mm-hmm. There's no different interpretation. It's right here in front of you.
Now, you've been working very hard lately, and I understand we have, for our viewers here on Action News at 6 on ArtBeat, we're going to see your new works that you've been toiling over for quite some time now.
I'm very excited about my new pieces coming out. I think when we see them, we'll see exactly what they are and for who they stand for and what it says.
Deep. Let's take a look at a few of those pieces right now.
The work I'm doing now, Randall, is very important in the socio-political history of the United States. I'm using a strawberry rhubarb topping, and I'm going to apply it to the different presidents according to their foreign policy and their different domestic programs, which they failed to treat the people right. Nixon, for his failing in Indochina, we have to cover him with the rhubarb to show where he went wrong. I think it says it right there. With Reagan, our 40th president, I'm using a cherry preserve to show the farce of the American way, which he proceeded to steal and rip off from underneath all of those, even those who supported him. I think you can clearly get the message from that. With Carter, I'm merely putting a piece of bread over him to mirror his own image, for him to see all of his white breadness. George Bush, I've come up with a guava jelly from Costa Rica to show his involvement in the Iran-Contra and his denial of it all. Let him see it all within him now. And the viewer cannot be misled by this. They see the truth in that. Eisenhower was the bread, and I am the bread. And you will feel the bread because of this.
Oh, well, you're not going to do Ike, are you?
Are you trying to censor me? I am Ike, and Ike is I. Don't you see? Don't you see? Because of it, I'm becoming one with Ike. Through the application, I see I see Ike and Ike sees me, and it's all very clear now. Very clear. The duality of Grover Cleveland as 22nd and 24th president gives the
Pretty
second
crazy stuff. Well,
low.
thanks for joining me here on ArtBeat, here on Channel G's Action News at 6 o'clock. And join us tomorrow when we'll bring you another artist here from the Bay Area. Bye-bye.
It becomes self-evident with John F. Kennedy here.
Hello, I'm Roger Wanke, and welcome to Insight, the program that talks with interesting people. My guest today is a therapist who says that sex is overrated. Please welcome Dr. Thea Thylock.
Hello, Mr. Wanke. Thank you for having me on.
Dr. Thylock, at the risk of calling you frigid, your book, Lie Back and Think of Iceland, espouses not having sex and is selling, if you'll excuse the pun, like hotcakes. Why?
Let me stop you right there, Mr. Wanke. That term that you just used, frigid, I love. So there is no need to tiptoe around that one. Okay. Why is the book selling? Because learning to embrace one's sexual disinterest is very, very empowering. It's what I call dissexuality, and that is something that I address in the early chapters of my book and is a constant theme throughout.
Indeed it is. Now, Lie Back and Think of Iceland is being touted as what you describe as a world of sex maniacs gone erect. Can you expand on this?
Sure. Now, if you like sex and sexual activity, I do not judge. Go for it. And in fact, I used to be a sex maniac. I did. I lost my virginity at age 14 to a 20-year-old in an Afternoon Delight t-shirt. I took off like a greased cat and never looked back. However, as I aged and as I evolved, I realized that yes, I am a dissexual. And I navigated through that. I have the tools to help people navigate through dissexuality and open up freezing new doors to an icy new world.
Well, that is something. Now, Dr. Thylock, your publisher is marketing your book in a unique way, setting up displays in the frozen food sections of the big box stores, daring. What's been the response?
Well, so far the response has been phenomenal. We have hordes of people coming to my book tours, which are set up at the Costco's in the frozen food sections, and I just couldn't be happier.
Fantastic. Now, Dr. Thylock, your book says that a woman's body is a winter wonderland not to be touched, an unexplored tundra of glacial purity, a chaste chasm. Is this a position for many women?
Oh yes. We want to say, leave me alone. We want to say, do not touch me. We want to say, put your penis away. So many women feel this way, yet are highly pressured by societal norms to perform at their partner's whim. Look, the penis has over 7,000 nerve endings. I would venture to guess you could cut that thing off and set it in a dish of water and it would survive. It would be fine. But the whole sex now, I want it, ooh, I love you, ooh, you're sexy, it's tiresome, it's boring, and it's got to stop.
Well, it's said that a man's sexual libido goes away about 15 minutes after he's lowered into the ground. But we want to thank you so much for illuminating this interesting aspect of sexuality with us, Dr. Thylock. And we wish you well on your book tour selling Lie Back and Think of Iceland by Dr. Thylock. Thank you so much for joining us here on Insight.
Thank you, Mr. Wanky. It was a pleasure and hope to see you in aisle A25.
I'll stop by. Touche, thank you. This is Roger Wanky for Insight. Join us again. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Marjorie Windblown of the Sexy Librarian Society, and we urge you to return your overdue library books, as we need them in the stacks, especially if they're reference books that other patrons could use. As always, check out your local library, check out your local librarian, and remember, reading is sexy. Hello, I'm Michael Meehan, and today my guest is very controversial film director, Sir Ernest Fluff, and he is joining us from a faraway land somewhere off the province of Turkmenistan. Sir Ernest Fluff, welcome.
Thank you for having me on the program.
Sir Ernest Fluff, you've been knighted by the Queen, which is quite an honor. But you've also been dogged by accusations of sexual improprieties and sexual connotations and unwanted advances. Would you care to comment?
Let me just say this right now, that the Queen Mother is one of the most sensual creatures I've ever had the pleasure of meeting.
Yes, but what of your ranking as the number 3 most egregious perpetrator of unwanted advances by the Me Too movement as well as Ladies' Home Journal?
Well, I've always been a hands-on director, and my work shows that. I bring an intimacy filmgoers demand.
Certainly your awards prove that, but your educational film for the Department of Weights and Measures for the adoption of the metric system was deemed inappropriate.
I believe Lolita is a misunderstood masterpiece, and it was released in France to rave reviews.
You're currently shooting your film, Peekaboo Abdul, in a province near Turkmenistan. Besides the wide open vistas and not having an extradition treaty with England and the United States, what else does it offer?
No Lawsuitistan is a wide-open country which demands the actors give wide-open performances. This is something that all actors should embrace, and they will give the best performance for the camera.
But your insistence that the actors undress and remain naked between takes has certainly been controversial.
Cinematic storytelling demands conflict, a tension in which to play against. Without it, all you have is pap.
Indeed. But many have questioned your choices that you made in your film, Romp and Circumstance. An older professor has liaisons with schoolgirls. Don't you see that as predatory?
Yes. The old duffer never stood a chance against all those nubile maidens. But I think that bears out in the final orgy scene when he has a heart attack.
Romp and Circumstance has been condemned by quite a few women's groups, including former National Organization of Women President Gloria Steinem herself.
Gloria Steinem is still angry at me for not casting her in my most feminist film to date.
You're speaking, of course, about your highly improbable and highly exploitive war drama, The Buns of Navarone.
The Buns of Navarone is about the empowerment of women. I've always said that.
Yes, to have women parachute behind Nazi lines in bikinis is considered bold, to say the least.
But every woman on the film filed a restraining order against you, saying that you could not go within 100 feet of them.
I lost my voice shouting direction at them, but I believe it still remains a woman's film, and it will stand the test of time.
Sir Ernest Fluff, last question. Will you return to England or the U.S. to face the multitude of charges against you?
I'd rather be under withering gunfire than to try to make a film there.
Well, thank you, Sir Ernest Fluff, for illuminating us on your methods, and we advise you to keep your hands to yourself.
Thank you. Action!
Hello, I'm J. Roger Wanke, and welcome to Insight, the program that talks with interesting people. My guest is returning, Bill Tuohy, who's been voted by the Daly City Chamber of Commerce as the sexiest man alive in the 650 area code. Welcome, Bill.
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing great. Look at me. I look great. I'm the sexiest man in the 650.
Today's show is also being broadcast in Tagalog, so if you would like to hear it in the native Filipino language, turn your devices to channel 55, or if you're in the Ceremony Center area, that's channel 54. Bill, welcome back, and tell us what's going on in the big DC. I'm speaking, of course, of Daly City.
Well, just it's always foggy because all the Filipinos are cooking their rice. But other than that, we're just quarantining. I'm getting fat. And it's weird because you're fat, but you don't know you're ugly. Some people, they'll just look at you with a funny look and you still tell yourself, I look good, because I know I look good. I'm the sexiest man in the 650. But other than that, when you're getting fat, you're getting fat. I was sitting on the toilet the other day and my legs was falling asleep. I got up, almost fell on my face on the sink. It's crazy. But that's what it is when you're quarantining. All you do is just keep shoving food in your mouth left and right. But that's my point. When you're getting fat, you don't know you're ugly. But what are you going to do?
Bill, you always have interesting snippets for our viewers here on Insight. What else have you got?
One thing about being good looking is the more money you have, the better looking you are. Man, these ladies love me. When I pull a 20 out, they love me. But when I pull 100 out, they really love me. Now I know that makes me good looking. Look at me. Sexy thing. Look I'm a superstar. Chisel, chisel. So sexy. Look at this chest. Yummy.
Well, thank you so much, Bill Tuohy, for visiting us here at Insight, the program that talks with interesting people, and you certainly have been interesting. Thank you, Bill.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm about to go and jump on Tinder now and swipe left and swipe right and check out some hot chicks, because they want to check out this hot guy right here. But check it out. What's better than 69? 77, because you get 8 more.
I'm Roger Wanke, and thanks for tuning in.
That's totally cheesy. It's funny.
Right, you're on your own, dude.
Being in the Pope, everyone's got an attitude, man.
They're all talented up to a point.
I'm the band! I'm the show!
But it's a very low point.
I'm out of here.
Shut up and sit down!
Are we Mr. Sensitive Ponytail guy now? He sucked anyways. He sucked.
Yeah, he did.
That's what drum machines are for anyway, huh?
You got your blues guys. You got your jazz freaks. And you got your rappers. And we blend. You mix it together. We're like an Orange Julius of what's going on.
Wearing a black kangaroo sweatsuit, gold chain, and sneakers. lost in an ecstasy. You were in my dreams and my fantasies. Didn't know what to do when I woke up. You were gone. What's up? I was lying all alone in my bed, and the moonlight beating on my head. She's waking up. She's waking up. And you wake up at the Buttcrack of Dawn. Wake up at the Buttcrack of Dawn, and you wake up at the Buttcrack of Dawn. Sit, heel, wake up at the Buttcrack of Dawn, and you wake up at the Buttcrack of Dawn. Wake up at the Buttcrack of Dawn. You want the papers? Wake up, boy. Wake up at the Buttcrack of Dawn, and you wake up at the Buttcrack of Dawn. Wake up at the Buttcrack of Dawn. Cut it out, cut it out. Wake up at the Buttcrack of Dawn, and you wake up at the Buttcrack of Dawn. Wake up at the Buttcrack of Dawn.
You just don't know the stuff, dude.
Oh, man.
God, can I take this off already?